This, to me, is the bigger problem. Forget Boston. The fact that the Knicks, again, who had a golden opportunity in front of them, failed to take advantage of it.
Sal, the one thing that I've looked at with this team, and I've always said, all right, can I envision them playing 2 months of the kind of basketball required straight without many, pitfalls? And not that you can't stumble once, but you can't keep stumbling. That would not enable you to win a series. And my answer was always no. And it's been a fun ride, and I'm still hopeful and all this stuff. But last night, to me, was where everything came shining through. I think I've used the wrong word for Karl-Anthony Towns. I've called him soft a few times, and there's too many elements where he is. It hit me last night. Karl-Anthony Towns is a dumb basketball player. His basketball IQ is 0. And then, you look at the wings and the inconsistency. Show me a championship team whose big man, an all-star, disappears every other game. Show me a championship team whose wings go from 29 points one game to 1 for 12 the next game. Show me a team whose coach one night looks like they're ready to play and they come bursting out of a cannon, and then the next night it looks like they're messing around on Saturday morning at the CYO. Or it's frustrating. It's frustrating because the Knicks, we love them. There's no doubt about that. But the belief in the Knicks, for me, has never been incredibly strong with this unit. And last night, I'm worried. I mean, I look at these Celtics, and the people that don't think the Celtics could come back and win Friday, I think you're nuts. And if this thing goes back to Boston Friday, it's lights out.
Okay.
Knicks will not win Game 7.
Well, we have 4 hours to have this conversation, so I'm all in on that. I'm not worried about the Knicks in this series. I'm not worried at this particular point. But I do take major issue. It's why I didn't pick them to beat the Celtics, because they couldn't put away the Pistons in Game 5. Yeah, it was great in Game 6. Okay, they got the job done. Didn't do it in Game 5. I want to know. We had this conversation on Tuesday, I guess it was, after the Knicks' performance in Game 4. Did we think it was sustainable now that maybe they unlocked something, because you had the perfect game in Game 4 where everybody was contributing to the levels that we expected? Brunson was a superstar. Cat had his contributions. Bridges was effective. Anunoby was good. How the hell do you go from that to 1 game later, the exact opposite? It wasn't just Cat. It was Bridges.
It was everybody except Mitchell Robinson.
It was OG Anunoby, and it was Jalen Brunson. So I just don't understand how we can truly get behind. And again, I'm not worried about this series. We could have that conversation.
Yep.
But as far as big picture, when you're evaluating this Knicks team, and a lot of us, we were talking about, hey, this is their best window. Hey, we could start thinking big now with Tatum out of the way. The Knicks have a 3-1 lead prior to last night. Indiana is there. You're going to have home court. Who knows? You're 8 wins away or 9 wins away from an NBA title. But I just don't know how you can trust this team based on what you've seen from them with the inconsistencies from one game to the next.
They're a one-trick pony. That's really the problem with the Knicks, because they are so reliant on Jalen Brunson to be amazing. And most times he really is. And Brunson is he's the best. We love him, right? Off last night, we get it. We know his flaws. Not a great defensive player, always on the floor, but he is amazing. But everything they do runs through him. If he's having an off night, they are lost. Like, it's amazing to see the Knicks. This is actually hard to do at this level when you win 51 games, win the first round, up 3 games to win round 2, and knocking on the door for the conference championship. It is hard to have these wild fluctuations in performance, and they do it more than anybody. You don't see Minnesota do this. You don't see a healthy Warriors team do this. You don't even see Denver do this, or you don't see the Pacers do this. You just don't see teams do this. So there are a lot of things that I think Brunson is able to mask, all right?
Yeah.
And that speaks to his greatness. But good God almighty, and Karl-Anthony Towns got outplayed by Cornette, who, by the way, used to be a Knick.
Yeah.
I'm getting fed up with Cat. I can't take it anymore. Always flailing, he's got that dumb look on his face. I can't explain. There's something about Karl-Anthony Towns, number one, that I do not trust. I just do not trust him to show up in a big moment, to be tough, to be efficient, and I don't mean punching. I mean to be strong, to be in the post. There was a moment he had a guard on him. A guard, dude. This is what you do as a coaching staff. Hey, let's do this. Hey, now we'll get the matchup. Cat on Drew Holiday or Cat on whatever, right? They get the matchup. Dude, he looked like he was 6'2". Where's the backbone?
All right, you could pick on Cat, and I'm not going to disagree with that.
But do you think I'm wrong with that with Cat?
No, I don't. He doesn't. Cat does not force his way or make his presence felt.
No, he doesn't.
And by the way, for a star player, that's unacceptable. And to your point about the foolish fouls, which also prevent him from getting involved.
But he's lazy.
Okay, but if you're going to do that stuff and not play defense and not have your presence felt or force your way down low, the least you could do, which is his greatest asset in my mind, which is why I like the trade to begin with, is knock down some threes.
Yeah.
Which he hasn't done that. But I'm going to go at Brunson for yesterday's performance. He's the leader. He's the captain. A closeout game on the road. It was a close game, obviously, in the third quarter. The game was still in the balance. Like, that's how I thought the game was going to go. I didn't think the Knicks were going to fold in the third quarter and then the fourth quarter. Dude, I don't know if I've ever seen it before. How do you have 5 fouls in one quarter?
How does the coach let you stay on the court?
Well, I mean, look.
That's the most basic. I know they don't have much of a bench, but good God.
But it's still the third quarter of a playoff game here. Like, you can't. It's on the player, too, to be smart about things. 5 fouls in one quarter. He fouled out with over 7 minutes to go in the game.
It's astonishing.
Imagine Patrick Ewing doing that?
Yes, at least I could because he's a big.
Yeah, but even then,
think about that.
I mean, dude, I don't recall that if it ever happened.
No, I've never seen 5 fouls in one quarter by anybody.
But right, at least you could justify a little bit more because trying to play defense. Guys are coming in at him. For a point guard to have 5 fouls in one quarter and foul out with 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. So the point is, there are a lot of culprits here. You could pick on Cat. We could both pick on OG and Bridges, who was again invisible. Like, that's the thing, inconsistent. Brunson, to me, has to be better. Knicks have to be smarter as a team. And you sum it all up with just saying, I don't know how you can trust this team at a championship level. I'm not talking about this series.
I got you.
That conversation.
Yep.
I'm talking about championship level.
And I haven't. And listen, back to what I said before about being a one-trick pony. And again, it's a pony that moves pretty quickly and looks pretty good when things are humming with Jalen Brunson. But the Celtics, right? So if Brunson's slightly off, as he was last night. He was off. There's no question, right? Maybe a couple of bad calls, but he was just off. Just didn't look right. The Celtics, without a top 3, top 4 player in the NBA, an NBA champion, a guy who's first team All-NBA, 25, 28, 30 points a game, but just a great player, in the middle of his prime at age 27, Jason Tatum, they had 10 more assists than the New York Knicks, and Tatum handles the ball a lot, and that is what worries me about, obviously, I don't want to push it too far down the road here, but I'm being worried about Friday. I'm completely worried because, like, even if Tatum is off, the ball movement is not. They play a certain style that enables them to work through some rough patches when a star, either Tatum or Jaylen Brown, when they're slightly off. When Jalen Brunson is off, they have no plan B. It ain't Cat. It ain't Bridges, and Bridges have made some really big plays. I'm not trying to diss him, but I'm talking about night to night, like taking the lead baton and saying, hey, I got it tonight. I got 30. Brunson, you relax. I'm good. I'll carry us. They don't have that, and that terrifies me.
That is an embarrassing performance for a team that had a chance to close out a champion, that is coming off their best performance as a group, that you're facing a team that lost their heart and soul and their best player in Jason Tatum, and you go out there and you perform like that.
It's gross.
That is an unacceptable. Towns in foul trouble, Brunson, unacceptable. That can't happen. OG Anunoby, invisible. Bridges, invisible. Unacceptable performance from the Knicks in Game 5. BT and Sal on the Fan, our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you, but at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Brad is calling from Mineola, starting us off. What's up, Brad?
I hope to God that on Monday morning you guys are not screaming through my airwaves. I hope to God that they figure out what happened yesterday cannot happen on Friday night. Do I have faith that what happened yesterday is not going to happen on Friday night? Did I turn off the TV last night and say, okay, we lost Game 5 in Boston. They did this is for the Gipper kind of situation? And do I think the Knicks and Thibodeau are going to figure it out? Yes. What happened last night is that Jason Tatum was not on the floor. So they had to figure out a second or third option for them to score points. They have a lot of all-stars on this team. They have Drew Holiday. They have Derek White. They have a great bench. We do not. I think what happened last night is the game plan wasn't there. And the fact of the matter is, when you're up 9 in the second quarter and you have a chance to absolutely put this team away, and I texted one of my friends that said, this could be a blowout tonight, and you let them get back in the game.
You're right. It was.
Yeah,
it was
the wrong way. And thank you for the call, Brad. Great passion.
Yeah, but you can tell he's ticked off. Listen, nobody's sitting here saying don't remain excited, don't be pumped for Friday. But my belief is, like, flip a coin. I don't feel good about this team moving forward.
Last night, you know how I felt going. Just my gut. Like, it wasn't a hopeful thing. I've been measured with that. The fan of me, of course, you want your team to win every single night, but I've been measured with this. Even if the Knicks were up 3-1 and Tatum was healthy, I would not have felt good about this series. Without Tatum, I had no doubt that the Knicks were winning that game last night. So much so that I was fine with the half, and I was kind of like taking it for granted. All right, yeah, they're playing back and forth. This is what I thought Knicks are going to pull away. And I was going to actually dive into bet, and then I just didn't because I didn't like the odds. And if I didn't get it before the game, I wasn't going to take the Knicks at plus 2.5. Luckily, obviously, that I didn't. But I was so confident until things just completely fell apart. I couldn't believe how pathetic the Knicks were in yesterday's game. Dude, they cannot lose this series without Jason Tatum on board. Like, I still, in my gut, I still don't feel like I'm not where you're at as far as being concerned.
I'm concerned.
Maybe it's foolish for me to not have that concern. My bigger issue is that I don't know how we could trust this team, period.
Well, I was just going to
say, I guess my confidence is more about Boston not having Tatum. I just don't think that they have enough. Yeah, it was a great game last night from them at home. I just don't think they have enough to win this series without Jason Tatum, with Porzingis being, he's not there either. They're so ravaged. I just don't think Boston has enough. Imagine if Tatum were there and you saw what happened last night. Then I'd be feeling maybe like you were feeling the other way, like Boston's going to win this series. But in my gut, I still don't think the Knicks are going to lose this series.
Okay, so here, I'm going to give you a little ray of hope here, all right? Where I don't think it's necessarily going to be a one-off, but here's why it could be. Because when you're a Knick coach, when you're Tom Thibodeau and obviously the assistant coaches, and you're game planning for this particular game, just last night, you are so used to game planning and strategizing against the Celtics one way with Jason Tatum that even though you know he's not there and you make some adjustments that you think are going to work out, until you actually see them without Jason Tatum. And by the way, he didn't play against the Magic in one of the games, so there was some film to go to work with on that. But until you're actually on the court and see how they truly operate in a high-pressure, high level of engagement kind of game, I think it's very hard to completely reprogram how you operate. The potential good news is now they went to school last night, and now they know what they're trying to do without Tatum, and now you can fix it. That's the good news. The worrisome news, or the potentially bad news, is that last night was not necessarily an outlier. They have gotten their face kicked in most of this series. Now, most of it with Jason Tatum, but the first two games, Jason Tatum did not play well. Even though the Knicks won both games, Celtics were up by 20 points. So man, I'm worried.
Alex is in East Quogue. What's up, Alex?
Oh, brother. Can I tell you, when you, on a night when Josh Hart hits 5 out of 9 threes, and Mitch hits 6 of 6 free throws, to get blown out is an absolute disgrace. Can I make a couple of quick points?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, first, every bad habit resurfaced last night. Brunson is fine to have an off shooting night, but by nature he doesn't look to feed others. He ISO'd all night long on a night when he wasn't shooting well. He should have gotten more. He had 12 assists the previous game. Where did that go? Number 2, Tibbs waits till 8 while the Knicks are being destroyed in the third quarter. Tibbs waits till he's 8 minutes in to call a timeout, and waits till 9 minutes in to sub out when obviously the starting unit in the third quarter didn't have it. What was he waiting for? And lastly, again with Tibbs, they've got DeLon Wright, who's not a star. He's a serviceable, long-time pro, a really good defender, and a serviceable disher. Why the hell do you give Cam Payne a couple of minutes to do 3 fouls in 2 minutes?
Cam Payne was awful.
He has. See what the heck to have with him.
Cam Payne's been brutal.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Before I go, I'll tell you. Who has the most pressure for Friday night? It's the Knicks.
Yep.
If they don't win Friday night,
well, we could get into that, Alex, and thank you for the call. We could get into that tomorrow or maybe later in the show. I mean, for the first hour, especially the first 15 minutes here, we'd like to dissect last night a little bit. I was just watching we have the game on here. We're rewatching some of the not some of the highlights, the actual game. A thing flashed up. The Celtics have had at least a 14-point lead in every game this series, which plays to your point, and which what I was talking about earlier on in the series, which is why I wasn't going nuts. The only thing that changed in my mind was Tatum, and to have that type of effort from the Celtics, and the Knicks couldn't stop them without Tatum, and the Knicks couldn't do anything on their own without Tatum. I'm actually shocked at that. I am shocked that we saw what we saw last night, and there's plenty of blame to go around. You want to talk about Tibbs, you want to talk about the other culprits, Alex is getting on everybody, campaign, whatever the bench. But the Knicks overall, BT, their big four did nothing.
Nothing. But I tell you his point think about this. If we would have said before we signed off the air yesterday, hey, Hey, by the way, guys, enjoy the game tonight. You're going to get 5 threes from Josh Hart, and Mitchell Robinson's going to bank it 6 out of 6 free. I'd say Knicks by 50 at that point. Here's what I need you to explain to me.
Okay.
Now, because I'm going back to Cat for a second, because I'm up to my wit's end with frustration with this guy. All right. So here's why I think he's a dumb basketball player. I'm going to stand by that. Not a dumb person. I remember meeting him the night that he got drafted, and he told me that he wanted to be a doctor. I think he's a brilliant young man. Love him.
I like him. He's
dumb basketball player. And here's why. He is. I'm fed up. You know I'm fed up with him. I can't take a lack of effort. That face that he has. He looks confused. It bothers me. So he's been around, 8, 9, 10 years? Been around for a long time. He is fairly mechanical and a slow plotter. Like, he doesn't move explosively. Fair assessment?
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Okay. So if that's the case, you're not a rookie or year 2, how have you not figured out to avoid stupid fouls by now? That is called spatial awareness. That is called anticipation. That is called footwork. That is called basketball IQ. He don't have any.
Body control all over the place. He's
flailing and flipping down. Come on, dude.
He's just a big, sloppy mess at times. Well,
he is. I agree. He's a big, sloppy mess.
That's why I was saying he has no moves. I like Cat. I want Karl-Anthony Towns on the perimeter. I like him as a person. Seems like a great dude. He obviously can light it up. He's, for a big man, he's the best scoring, shooting big, whatever you want to say. Maybe not scoring, because Shaq could score and dominate down low. But Cat plays like a 2-guard. The problem is he's got a body, a bad center, not even a big, like Mitchell Robinson is a big. Mm-hmm. Look at how Mitchell Robinson is agile at times on the perimeter.
Yes.
Where he's under control.
The final play when Bridges stole in the corner with Tatum in game one, early on. Yeah, he came over, moved his feet, and he basically shifted the offense that way by design.
You see it even if there's a mismatch. Mitch is okay. He's on the perimeter. He's got his spatial, he's okay on his feet like that. Obviously, you don't want a big man on the perimeter, period. Yeah. But Mitch can handle it. Now, Mitch is an elite defensive player, but Cat is the exact opposite. Bad body control, bad footwork, all those things.
Always complaining. Who blocked his shot? Was it Derek White? Drew Holiday? One of the guards blocked a 3-point attempt in the corner.
Yeah.
Dude, you're 7-1.
Well, that's my thing. He's got, at the very least, he's got to be able to find some open threes or find a way to knock down some threes. That's why he's here.
That's on the coach. Coach has to figure that out.
It's 5 games
and the point guard.
in. It's 5 games in the series. He hasn't done anything from downtown.
I get it. Didn't really hit a ton against the Pistons either. Hit a couple of big ones. But, they have taken away his ability to operate, 25 feet away from the rim, which is good job by the opposition. I don't know. How about the coach find something to counteract that and come up with something to get him open again?
And they keep saying the same thing. Well, we got to find better ways, to get him involved. Everybody keeps saying the same thing. Hey, where the hell's Cat? Where the hell's Cat? Just second best player. You don't have a way to get him involved, or he's not impacting the game, getting involved.
It's one of my complaints with the coach.
Yeah, I'm not going to go. I mean, there's a lot. Oh, man, it's not going to be pretty today with the Knicks. You expected it to a certain extent.
I did.
At least from the Celtics perspective.
I knew they were coming.
You didn't expect that. That's where I'm saying I took it twice. I made mistakes.
Yeah.
I didn't expect the Celtics to do what they did. Mm-hmm. All right, but whatever. They did fine. I certainly did not expect the Knicks. I gave them too much credit. I thought we would get at least a decent performance, and yet it was hideous from what we saw from the Knicks. 888-808-1019 is the number to call. We'll get back to the calls and also further the conversation. They keep talking about the urgency, too. Oh, well, they had more urgency. I mean, it's the postseason, boys. Wake up. We'll get to that aspect when we come back. BT and Sal on the Fan.